If you look around my office, you might realize I have kind of a love for dark, twisted cartoons. And a lot of that may be because I grew up with a lot of dark, twisted cartoons. Now, I'm not talking about the ones like Batman or ones that were meant for older kids. I'm talking about the ones that were meant for little kids, and they probably should have been made for little kids. And I loved the hell out of them. I enjoyed how much they scared me. I loved how every time you got through one, you felt a little tougher. So I'm doing a series reacting and reviewing them. We're gonna analyze how creative they are, how dark they are, and if the dark, twisted tone was warranted. So join me in taking a look at some Dark Toons. Ever wanted to get drunk and watch Tiny Toons? The Tiny Toons did! One Beer aired in 1991 and was one of the only episodes to be banned by Fox Kids. Let's take a look. I want to point out real fast, there's a real art to these title cards, particularly in Tiny Toons. The ones that stood out to me are Tiny Toons and Batman the Animated Series. Other shows had title cards and they were fine, but there was really an art to Tiny Toons and Batman. They almost looked like movie posters or book covers. It was weirdly one of the things I look forward to most when I watch Tiny Toons, and honestly, I don't think they get enough credit.
Juice, milk, or a cold one?
Again, totally something you'd see today.
That's beer.
Yeah, I can't tell you how many times I had a cold bottle of beer.
Let's drink it. This isn't like you. I know, but in this episode, we're showing the evils of alcohol.
Okay, so that should definitely be addressed. The writers of Tiny Toons and Animaniacs, they kind of very vocally did not like doing these kind of episodes, but there was a thing back then during the 80s and early 90s, you kind of had to be educational. That's why a lot of shows like G.I. Joe and Transformers and so forth had PSAs at the end, because many shows would be made just to sell toys. In fact, sometimes the toy came first, like in the case of He-Man. So they had these little PSAs at the end because they were required to be educational. So in something like this, they were kind of forced to make something that taught kids the benefits of whatever. In fact, most of this episode deals with the importance of reading, the importance of friendship, and of course, the dangers of alcohol. You'll notice though, they do still put effort into it. You look at the angle with the beer bottle and the distortion in their faces. You see Buster with the shadows and the little horns and stuff like that. I mean, this is creative. It's not something you usually see in a Tiny Toons cartoon.
Well, what are we waiting for? Come on!
I do kind of like kids like to go somewhere secret to do something naughty, and in this case they go to a public park where everybody can see them. That's kind of funny. And much like Dare, it sometimes does the opposite of what it's intending. Like, what kid would know what hops means?
Nectar of the hops.
But now they know, and are probably gonna be curious to try it.
Look.
See, that's honestly all I have to show. The kids try it and they don't like it. Most kids don't like beer. Like, the episode should be over in 2 seconds. Okay, so this is really where it kind of gets fun. As soon as they have one sip, they immediately get stubble around their chins. Their eyes are half open. You get some cool pink elephants imagery here. So even when you have to do something you don't want to do, you can still kind of be artistically pleasing with it. All those bursts, by the way, are Maurice LaMarche, who would later do them for Wacko in those famous Animaniac shorts. He also did them a lot on The Critic. If you need a burper, that's your dude. He's also one of the world's greatest voice actors, but it's mainly the burping. That's what he's best at.
Are we wasted or what?
Wow, you ever wonder where Chester A. Bum came from? Look at that. I didn't know I was subconsciously tapping into Hampton from this episode.
And that's a good one.
But okay, this is legit pretty funny. They're still on that one bottle of beer and just suddenly they're drunken bums on the street.
Just pass the brewski, bub.
Brewski, wasted, hops. You're learning all sorts of new vocabulary here.
Hey, don't be such a hog.
How does a duck get stubble? I don't get that.
Look, babes.
This is a little funny. I'm sorry.
Who needs a bunch of hoity-toity goody-goodies?
I mean, think about how much fun would it be if you're the voice of Buster Bunny going in and you're gonna play him drunk and you're gonna get paid for it. It's kind of amazing. These backgrounds are pretty fun. I like the idea that the more drunk they get, the more distorted and crooked and slanted their environment gets.
How about we go for a little ride? Do you mean, like, steal the car?
I don't know what's funnier, the fact that they're about to steal a cop car, or the fact that Hampton is suddenly losing teeth from one beer. How does that happen? I do like, by the way, that the cop car is outside a donut shop. It's such an old cliche, but I don't know why. It's funny. I always see cops at my Dunkin' Donuts.
How does it feel to be DWI?
DWI? I hope you kids are taking notes.
Driving while intoxicated. Ah, that's ridiculous. I don't know how to drive.
That's a good joke. These are actually good jokes. Again, some fun, creepy imagery. That's why I always kind of liked the episodes where they were going to teach you a lesson, because they were either the worst or the best, because you got to see stuff you just didn't get to see in other episodes. They could be a little meaner, they could be a little crueler, because they're trying to teach you a lesson. Going a little Lynchian here, I guess. Cliffs. There's something foreboding about it, and there's not like a ton of heavy shadows, but you just know there's something off. It's getting kind of darker and darker the higher up they go. Come on, man. Not only are they going off a cliff in a cop car, but they're going into a graveyard, smashing onto a tombstone, and the bottle of beer flies out totally unbroken. This is fucking great. Look at that. Where else on Tiny Toons would you see an angle like that, unless it was trying to teach you a lesson? I actually really dig this. There you go. You see him fly up to heaven, and if you really just want what the writers thought of this whole thing, the last line honestly sums it all up.
I hope the kids got the message. So do we get to do a funny episode tomorrow? I hope so.
And there it is. There's one beer, the banned Tiny Toons episode. Now, I should make it clear, it was banned from Fox Kids, but apparently other channels showed it, particularly The Hub. It's hard to say if I agree with it being banned, because it clearly shows the negative side of alcohol, but at the same time, I mean, they're doing goofy stuff, they're doing funny stuff, so I can see a kid sort of seeing that and wanting to have fun with it. But like I said, they were allowed to go a little darker than they usually do, and whenever you saw an episode that's going to teach you a lesson, it's like you don't know if you're going to get something that's really lame or really twisted, or sometimes both. I think in this case, it's kind of both, because it's teaching a very obvious lesson, it's going very over the top, but that's also kind of the fun of it. You don't see Tiny Toons do this kind of stuff, you don't see them get drunk, you don't hear them say words like wasted. I weirdly kind of enjoy it. I actually was not expecting to like this, because I remember seeing it as a kid, and the only thing I liked was the end line. I guess Buster came to see a Buster Bunny cartoon. Yeah, I actually kind of had a good time with that. Some of the writing was funny, some of the backgrounds are creative. You know the voice actors must have had a blast just playing these little kids as drunks. I don't know, I think it's another one of those things where the cons are also the pros, like everything that someone could point to as it not being very good is also kind of what makes it unique and stands out. I actually kind of enjoy it, especially when you compare it to the other ones in this episode. The other ones are very straightforward, a lot cornier, where this one I felt like that they really want to go more over the top and kind of have fun with the idea, even though they're teaching a lesson. You can see it in reruns, or you can even get it on DVD, because of course I have the entire collection of this. Yeah, let me know what you think. Do you think this is something that should be banned, is more influencing kids to drink, or do you think it gets the message across and is actually pretty funny and has some fun imagery? When I was a kid, I got the message pretty obviously, but you never know with some kids. But hopefully the message that you shouldn't drink beer and alcohol is not really that great a thing had an impact on all those who watched it. Hey everyone, I got a couple of these lined up. If there's any particular cartoon you want me to look at as being very dark or twisted, leave it in the comments below. Again, I'm not really looking for movie scenes or cartoons meant for teenagers or older. I'm talking about ones meant for little kids, but still scare the shit out of you. Whether it's an old cartoon or a new cartoon, let me know what you want me to look at.